Joining us now on Ed Schultz News and Commentary, Mr. Richard Viguerie, godfather of the conservative movement and chairman of conservativehq.com. Mr. Viguerie, good to have you back with us. Appreciate your time.
Always a pleasure, Ed.
Hey, I got an invitation to CPAC. You got to tell those folks this can't be an ambush. I'm a good guy, okay?
All right. Well, I'll make a point, put it on my calendar. I got to be there for this. This is special. Wow.
Well, they bring some media people in every year, and so I was asked by Matt Schlapp if I'd like to be a part of the program, and I'm anxious. I don't know if I'm speaking or part of a panel or whatever, but I'm looking forward to it because in the arena of ideas, it's every 4 years the country examines itself and wants to move forward. And of course, we're doing that now in a different direction with the election of Donald Trump. Your thoughts to this point, the way the cabinet has been put together. A cynic would say there's a lot of generals, there's a lot of private business guys, there's a lot of billionaires. What's your response to all that?
Well, Ed, I almost daily am speaking with dozens of other conservatives, as I will tonight, I did yesterday, etc. And universally, conservatives are just, we're still pinching ourselves. We can't hardly believe the type of people and personnel that Trump is bringing into his administration. It is significantly better than Reagan. I was there in 1980, 81 when he was putting the administration together. And it just, starting with the vice president, comparing George H.W. Bush to Mike Pence, and comparing Reince Priebus to James Baker, Bush's man, William French Smith at Reagan's Attorney General versus Jeff Sessions, and then you got Steve Bannon in the White House, and we assume Kellyanne Conway will be somewhere there, and Dave Bossy and Stephen Moore. I mean, this is about as good as it can possibly get for conservatives. So we're just thrilled. Every day it gets better for conservatives from so far since the election day.
Well, Trump is still clearing the beach. I mean, he's taking on the CIA now. There's no bigger story right now that's pushed by the Democrats that he may be an illegitimate president, and because Vladimir Putin was allegedly directly involved in the hacking and directing the undermining of the American election. Trump has come out and says they're full of it, that the CIA is wrong. And John Kerry just held a briefing at the State Department talking about the situation in Aleppo and was asked about the alleged hacking. Kerry was smart enough to say that he wasn't going to comment on unnamed sources to the NBC story. I just have this sense that Trump and Obama have gotten together in this transition conversation, and Obama has probably said, there really isn't enough here. And so that has given Trump license to go out and just hammer the intelligence community, which is very rare. In all of your years, have you seen a president-elect have this kind of attitude towards the intelligence community, to call them out and tell them that they're wrong? And now he's getting backup from the FBI director, Comey, who says that, that's they're not all on the same page. What do you make of all of this?
Well, as I've said a number of times on your show before, Ed, talking about disruption. Disruption has come to American business. It's moving into politics, and there's almost nothing about this next 4 years that's going to resemble anything we've ever seen in our lifetime. Disruption is happening, and the game is not going to be played the way it's been played before. And we've got a different president. We're in different times now. Everything is different. We all remember how in that last debate, Trump said, he may or may not accept the election results. We have to wait and see. And the Democrats gave him a hard time. Well, the reverse turned out to be true. It was kind of a projection. It was the Democrats that are having a hard time accepting the election results. They're trying desperately to overturn the election results. But as you and I know, it ain't going to happen. Donald Trump's going to be the next president, and we'll see where we go from there. But politics, Ed, is just going to be radically different in the coming years from anything any of us have ever seen.
Well, it's just amazing to me that they take unnamed sources and they hang an entire headline for days on this. I just find it hard to believe whatever happened to good, solid reporting. And I don't think Trump would go out there unless he's been given some kind of insight that this is pretty damn flimsy. On the other hand, The accusations flying towards RT are just pretty amazing. But here's where we are, as I see it, Mr. Viguerie. Either the Russians are lying through their teeth and have no credibility, or we're the most paranoid country in the history of the world.
Well, you've said it pretty well, But stay tuned because there's a lot more to this story here, and who knows where it's going to go. But we haven't seen the last of it, that's for sure.
Let's talk about Mr. Tillerson. This is what former House Speaker Newt Gingrich had to say about Rex Tillerson, the CEO of Exxon, being up for Secretary of State.
Tillerson has a huge problem. He's successful. Tillerson actually has gone around the world negotiating agreements with foreign countries successfully on behalf of an American company. Now, if you're John Kerry or Hillary Clinton or the entire State Department, and your entire career has been one of going around the world unsuccessfully negotiating non-agreements, Tillerson is horrifying. I mean, what if he actually effectively represents America?
What's your take on that, Mr. Viguerie?
I love it. Newt's dead on. Someone I read today that said it won't be long and he'll have the nickname of TRex. And no, I think that he's putting together an administration here. Trump is of people who have accomplished things. Not you don't have any academics on here. People who are philosophers, and I mean, it's very impressive. It's he says, judge me, on my record. Look at he got the nomination election because of being a successful business person, and he's acting like a successful business person, surrounding himself with people who live and die by results. And
you got John McCain and Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio who are upset about his business connections and friendliness to Vladimir Putin. Is that going to derail it?
No. He's going to get all these appointments. They're going to go through. The Democrats are going to do everything they can. All of what we're seeing right now is leading up to something that's not in the room right now. All of this is practice for the Supreme Court. And sometime in January we'll get a Supreme Court nomination, and this is just all practice for that, because that's the World Series. That's the ball game, and the Democrats know that. So
this is all just lip jargon coming from Capitol Hill?
No, it's practice. It's spring training. It's practice, and they'll try to rough up the Jeff Sessions and these other people there, but they're going to and T-Rex. They'll go through, but the real fight will come with the Supreme Court nomination.
Well, they seem to feel like his connections to Putin are not healthy and dangerous. And you think that that's just a warm-up to the Supreme Court?
Well, no, it's valid to raise those questions. They're not invalid questions, but it's also not going to be disqualifying. I think that we're going to look at it and decide. There's so many battles that the president can fight, and one of the battles that he's not going to fight with Republicans. It's hard enough to fight with the Democrats. So that's why he's made his peace with the Republicans in many other areas here, and the same foreign policy. He probably doesn't feel like he can fight the Chinese and the Russians and the people in the Mideast, everywhere. So he's going to try to buy a little peace, maybe do a little triangulation, like Nixon did with China and when we had the Soviet Union. So they may be less focused on Russia right now, and but that may come back in a year or two. But he doesn't feel he needs to fight that battle right now.
I want to comment from you on your political counterparts, the Democrats. I think you could make the argument that they're becoming the party of New York and California, and possibly Keith Ellison as the head of the DNC. Where are you? Where's your competition right now? How would you assess their position?
Well, I love the idea that Keith Ellison could be the face of the Democratic Party. I think right now for the foreseeable future, they didn't get the message. Democrats did not get the message from not just the 2016 election, 2010, 2014. The Democrats, they've lost touch with America. The flyover country they're still not addressing it. And when they're talking about Keith Ellison as the face of the Democratic Party, they really don't understand the mess they're in. The conservatives have been attacked for as long as I can remember because we focus on the social issues, the cultural issues, and the establishment Republicans and Democrats and the media telling us for as long as I can remember we'll never win another election until we give up these cultural, social issues. They probably carried the ball for Trump in this last election and the Republicans. The Catholics have been going Democrat for some years now. This last election, Trump carried Catholics 52 to 45%, and just ran away with the white evangelical vote. So the faith-based voters gave this election probably more than any other group to Trump.
Mr. Viguerie, always a pleasure. Good to have you with us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Bye.
You bet. Richard Viguerie, godfather of the conservative movement, chairman of conservativehq.com. Chuck Hagel, former Secretary of State, former Secretary of Defense, excuse me. Chuck Hagel was asked about Trump and Russia.
I am encouraged by that. That doesn't discount or at all put aside the big differences we have with Russia, where Russia is today in what they did Ukraine, Crimea, their involvement clearly now, military involvement, and they're there to stay, I suspect, in Syria. But we've got to find some platforms of stability to start working together, if we can, to sort this out, because the question I have is, where does this go? Well, we can continue proxy wars on and on and on, and it will bring more suffering, more death, more slaughter. And so, yes, I'm encouraged. Can they do it? Can they find enough common ground? We'll see.
We will see. Communication Workers of America, Lancer American Manufacturing, BioGreen Cleaning the Eye Save Team bring you Ed Schultz news and commentary. We're back tomorrow.